Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name's Janelle. I upload new videos every Wednesday. Now, today might not be Wednesday, it might be Wednesday night or Thursday morning, so if so, I apologize for the late upload with Memorial Day weekend and all that. I just took a little bit of a break. For today's video, I decided to do this super soft, springy summer look. So before we get into the video, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and definitely that notification bell. The notification bell is so important so you're notified when I upload. I love and appreciate you guys so much, and without further ado, let's get into this spring summer glam makeup look. Alright, so I already started with my skin moisturized. So now I want to go ahead and give my skin a little bit more of a glow. So I'm going to apply my Farsali Unicorn Essence Serum. Just like kind of putting that on my cheeks. Now whenever I apply this, I avoid the top parts of my brows because for some reason I get so shiny right above my brows. So I just like leaving that part alone. And then next I'm taking my Maybelline Master Blur Stick. I'm going to focus that on my nose and T-zone just because my pores have been so freaking ginormous lately. So I just really want to make sure that's nice and smooth. So we're going to move on to eyes. To prime my eyelids, I'm just using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. And then I'm just going to set all over my lid using any sort of transparent powder and slightly dust that so everything stays put. So today I want to play with my Huda Beauty palette. I really want to play with more of like those pinky and purpley tones. So I'm going to start off by taking the shade Tickle and sweeping that all in my crease. And I'm just taking that with the JH34. I love playing with these kinds of tones for like spring and summer. I just feel like it's so fresh and pretty. I'm also going to work that into that front part of my eyebrow. To deepen things up, I'm taking the shade Spanked in the palette. Any sort of deeper pinky purpley tone will work. Taking that with the same brush, but just with the tip of the brush, I'm going to lightly tap in ever so slightly. Focus it on that outer edge first, and then whatever's left on my brush, once I deposit most of it on the outer corner, I'll lightly sweep it inward. Again, just working it toward that front part and sweeping it up toward my brow bone. So now for my favorite part, I'm taking my MAC Dazzle Liquid Shadow in Love Yourself. It's just like this gorgeous pinky rosy tone. Scoop some on the back of my hand first and then pick it up with a concealer brush and pat it on my lid. And then before that dries, I'm going to take my ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Lady Bird. It's just like a champagne color with a little bit of glitter. I'm just going to pat that mainly on the center just to give some extra sparkle to the eye. So I'm taking the same brush that I used for my crease colors and then softening up the edges. Now going in with a fluffy shader brush. This one is by BH Cosmetics. I'm going to take the shade Ice Pop in this Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette. I'm going to lightly buff that in the edges just to brighten it up a little bit, make it a little bit more fun and colorful. Alright, so now we can move on to foundation. So for foundation, I've really been liking this Clinique Beyond Perfecting foundation. Mine I got in the color Cork. Now it is a little bit light for me right now because my body is like super bronzed. My face is a little bit paler since I use SPF. But I'm just going to add a ton of bronzer to make it work. But I really wanted to show you guys this foundation on camera just because it blends out so pretty. It wears a good amount of time and it's like long wearing. It's matte but not too drying on the skin. Gives like a beautiful satin finish so you get a little bit of that summer glow, but it's matte enough to where it's not just gonna slide throughout the day. So now to give some more warmth to the skin, since this foundation is definitely lighter than my arms, I'm gonna take my Anastasia contour stick and use that to warm up my cheek. This contour stick is definitely too dark, so it balances out. We got like too dark and too light. So to buff that out, I'm going to use this BH Cosmetics brush. I'm going to spritz it with some Fix Plus just so everything blends out really smooth. I'm just going to lightly start pushing it into my skin. You'll see, it'll look super crazy at first, but then I feel like it always just comes together. You just got to be patient and keep blending. And then I like just taking whatever's left on the brush and working that along my jawline and then bringing it down the neck. Just because I find that sometimes when I do the lines along my jawline, like it doesn't blend out enough or I'm left with like some demarcation. So I'd rather just take what's left on the brush and buff that out. So next, to brighten up my under eyes, I'm going to be using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This is in the shade Light Medium Honey. And then I'll also keep the same brush that I used to warm up my face with that cream bronzer on hand. That way, once I finish buffing out my concealer, I can blend the edges with whatever that cream bronzer is left on the brush. And then I'll just push that concealer into my skin. I'm going to spray my brush with some Fix Plus. Okay, so now I'm just taking the same brush with whatever leftover cream bronzer is on it, and I'm just going to pat the edges just so that we don't have any harsh lines. And since that concealer was a little bit too light, it also helps kind of fuse all of that together. Alright, so next, to set my whole face, I'm going to be using my MAC Studio Fix foundation powder. This one's in the color NC30, and as you can see, I'm like almost out of it. Taking that with a small dome brush, and I'm just going to lightly press that into my skin just to make sure everything is locked in place. It's like my go-to foundation powder or setting powder, especially during this time of year, because it really does help keep everything in place all day. It gives that extra layer of coverage without feeling heavy. So lately, my favorite powder to highlight and like bake under the eyes with has been my Essence Banana Powder. And it's like all messed up because the cap came off. But this stuff just sets your under eye beautifully. It's so fine, so it doesn't look heavy under the eye, doesn't leave it dry or crepey. And I'm pretty sure this was like $3 or $4. And I personally like to bake right above my brows, just because that's where I've been getting so oily. Like I said, I don't know why, but like my brows be sweating. Looking extra cute. So while all that powder bakes under my eyes, this is when I like to warm up my skin with some powder bronzer. So of course, I'm going to be using my MAC Mineralized Bronzer in Give Me Sun. And my favorite bronzer brush lately has been my JH02, just because it buffs it out super easy and quick. And I like focusing the bronzer on my temple and kind of pulling that back to kind of lift this portion of my brow. And I don't really like bringing it all the way down my chest as well. And then next, with like a separate blending brush, I'll just lightly bronze up the sides of my nose, starting at where the tip of my brow is, and just working it downward. And then I'll kind of blend it into the shadow so it all just goes together seamless. And I like to make sure that as I wipe away the bake, that I kind of blend out the edges of the bronzer. Again, that way there's no demarcation. You kind of want to go back and forth, but then again, I'll go back in with the bronzer brush just to kind of fuse that area a little bit more. Alright, so now I'm going to give my face a little bit of a flush of color using my MAC blush in Dainty. This is like my favorite. So I'm just going to focus that on the front parts of my cheeks and then work it back into my bronzer slash contour. I'm going to bake underneath of the bronzer just to sculpt those cheekbones some more. Perfect. And then next, I'm going to go ahead and highlight my cheeks. Before I do that though, I'm going to use a little bit of these MAC Illuminate Dazzle Drops. I'm going to take the smallest amount and tap that on my cheek before I put on the highlight. That way it shows up super pigmented and just like wet and melted into my skin. Now these do have more of like a pinky undertone to them, so it will tie in nice with the eyes. And then for my highlight, I'll use more of a champagne, so it's more like duochrome. I'm just going to warm that up there and tap it right on the tops of my cheek, kind of melting it into the blush. I'm going to do one side at a time, that way it won't dry. I'm going to take my MAC Hyper Real Glow highlight palette. I'm going to take this middle one that's more of a champagne. I actually hit pan on this highlight. That's crazy to me. That's how I know that I love it, because I've legit never hit pan on a highlight so fast. The last highlight I hit pan on, it legit took me 7 years to hit pan on. And you see how much of a glow that gives? And then I'll take my blush just to kind of blend it together. For my lower lash line, I'm going to take the shade Spank that we use deeper in our crease. I'm going to take that with a flat like definer brush. Then with a pencil brush, I'm going to take the shade Tickle. It was the initial crease color that we used, and use that to blend out the previous color. And then to add a little bit more drama to the outer corner, I'm taking the shade Love Bite with the same pencil brush, and I'm actually going to put that on my top lash line just to give a little bit more drama in the outer corner here. To give more of a pop to the eye, I'm taking my ColourPop eyeliner in Prance. It's like a gorgeous sky blue. Perfect. I'm putting that right in my waterline. And it's crazy because I really do feel like it opens the eye so much. I'll take my regular black mascara and use it on the ends of my lashes. And then I'm going to use this to prep my lashes for some falsies. Before we apply those falsies, to add a little bit of fun to my inner corner, I'm taking the shade Ice Pop again in the Lemonade Craze palette. And I'm going to use that to highlight my inner corner. So moving on, for lashes today, I'm going to use these really fun ones that I got on Amazon. They were like 15 bucks. And they're foaming lashes. They look so pretty on. They are super dramatic, but I live for them. And while my lashes dry, we're gonna move on to lips. So for lips, I'm gonna start off by using my MAC Lip Primer, just because I'm actually gonna be using lip pencils as lipsticks. And this just helps them glide on so much smoother and not settle. Alright, so for my all over lip color, I'm gonna be using Edge to Edge by MAC. It's like my favorite pinky pink, but it's like still wearable, neutral, but still like a fun pop of color. So beautiful. Tell me that's not a gorgeous color. And then around the edges, to like bring it back a little bit and define the lips a little bit more, I'm taking my Plum lip liner. It's a lot deeper. It'll help the lips give more like definition and help them look fuller. I'm just gonna lightly graze this and blend it into the edge to edge. And then last, to tie everything together, I'm taking my Anastasia lip gloss in the shade Peony. It's like a gorgeous, vibrant, light pink. And then one last spritz. Almost forgot a little bit of the cheek highlight underneath of my brow bone. Alright guys, and here you have it. This is the completed look. I absolutely love this. I think it's super glam, but still super fresh and summery. Definitely a full beat face, but you still left with that glow that's going to stay put all day. If you guys did enjoy this video and you enjoyed me creating this look, then definitely don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos from me each week. And definitely don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified every Wednesday when I upload. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for staying tuned, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!